I've been hoping this will last. I know we were moving fast. I would cherish every moment, every kiss and every touch. You're my summer love, yeah.
No rewinding, no rewinding, forward motion.
Bitch, I'm a vet, I got rank, I got stain, nigga. Ice my bitch, ice my wrist, mud in my drink, nigga.
Eyes a diamond, I keep it shining, forward motion.
Real in my veins, no Caine and I'm that pain, nigga. My bitch bad and way too real to fuck with a lame, nigga.
I keep it shining, my mind's a diamond, my mind.
Welcome to the Gag Order, where we challenge the status quo and inspire change. I'm Allee Major, joined by my amazing co-hosts, Maie-Jean and Keya. Today we're diving deep into a powerful topic, being vested in yourself. So to kick off, before Keya shows up, let's talk about how being vested in yourself and what does it mean to you. So May, can I ask you, please, what does being invested in yourself mean to you?
For me, it means protecting my inner peace, having good boundaries, assessing my life and goals on a regular basis to make sure that they still align with what I want to do.
Okay. That's right there along the line. I like that. For me, I would have to say that being invested in yourself is a dedication you put into yourself. It's actually an investment you make into yourself, your education, your qualities, your spiritual, emotional self. It's how much you invest in yourself. And this show is all about bettering yourself and figuring out ways to try to invest in yourself a little more, even if at this time you don't believe in yourself. I believe it's very important to start to try to better yourself. Even in your later years, I think it's time to try to better yourself. What do you think, Meg?
Absolutely. I think self-improvement is forever.
Absolutely.
You gotta do your best for as long as you can.
Yes. Education is something that is a lifelong journey. We're learning from the moment we're born to the moment we leave this place. So, you might as well soak up as much information as you have, or as you can. Let me say. So first, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done to try to empower yourself and invest in yourself? What type of things have you done, if I may ask?
I've done a lot of things in my life.
Okay.
I've gone to nursing school. I bought a house. I'm proud of my children. I do all this other side stuff like the social media, the acting, modeling. I love all that kind of stuff. So lots of things, I think that, like you said, you can't stop your movement, because that's when you become stagnant and old. So I'm always trying to do new things and to make sure that I keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
And investing in myself, right? If you have the opportunity to do something, why not do it?
That's right. I think you
the
got
worst
to.
that can happen, you might like it, right?
That's right. You have to take hold of it as soon as you get an opportunity, and the opportunity shows itself. If you don't grab hold of the opportunity, you might not get a chance at it again. So you really have to grab on and just go and get
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely. Go for what you want. That's what the world is for, right? Go for what you believe in, the American dream,
Yeah.
So I believe in those
I
principles. And I think that being invested in yourself is tiring. I think that it takes a lot from you. And I have a couple boards and some sayings that I want to pull up for you, May, and show you. So here's the it's the practice self-compassion. You know, a fact is studies show that self-compassion can reduce anxiety and depression. You know, the advice is to treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Acknowledge your flaws without harsh judgment. What do you think about that, May?
I agree.
Okay. What do you agree with it? What about it? What about it stands out to you? What about this saying? What about this phrase stands out to you?
Well, I think that a lot of times we're our own worst critics, right? Or our own harshest critics. I shouldn't say worst critics. Our own harshest critics. So I think that we forget to look at ourselves as human beings. And a lot of times we forget to have that compassion for ourselves, especially if there's questionable situations or other things are going on,
Absolutely.
or if we make a bad judgment call or make a mistake. Or, sometimes we lose our motion, right? You become stagnant,
Yep.
and then at some point you pick back up again. And I feel like that lends a lot to that type of thing.
I find myself, I'm smiling because I find myself, for what you just said, I find myself damning myself for a lot of things that I may do wrong, like chastising myself. And I do it purposely so I can empower myself to do better and see what I did right there. I may chastise myself, but I do it in a way to try to push myself to remember, never do that shit again. That's the reason why I do it that way.
Right.
People have told me that it is the wrong way to do it. But at the same time, tomato, tomato, what works for me doesn't work for them.
Well, and I agree. And I need some form of what do they call it? Deprecation myself. I do that even when I'm dieting, anything, because again, I respond to that. So I
That's
agree
right.
with you in that sense. And I don't always think it's negative either.
I don't really see it as negative.
Again, how, like you said, we emotionally respond to things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't really think it's negative. I think sometimes you have to remind yourself you're not doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean?
Some of us need hard love. Some of us, our brains don't recognize, baby talk. Some of us don't recognize, the catering to or the gratitude way to approach handling yourself. And me, myself, I know that's, I react better to when something comes harshly in my way. When it's a pure slap in the face. Yeah. Absolutely. But
I feel like it's situational.
Yes.
Sometimes I do well, like with some tender loving care, and tell myself, May, it's okay, you're gonna make it through this. And other times I feel like I need to be like, are you kidding me right now? Like, get up.
Yes, that's right.
So I feel like it depends on the situation for myself.
Absolutely. That's exactly how I handle the situation. Sometimes I do, it's not always damning yourself, but sometimes you might need that kicking ass, you know what I mean? Just to get you motivated and going up, It'd be a day you're supposed to be up doing something and you feel lazy as hell. Just like, get the fuck up, get your ass up. That's just the way I do it.
Yeah.
But I have a second one for. Let's see how you feel about this one. It's to set SMART goals. A fact is, research indicates that setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals increases the likelihood of success. The advice is to break down your long-term dreams into manageable steps to create a clear path forward. Now, this one right here, I feel absolutely acceptable to, because I find myself doing this on a constant basis. I find myself managing little steps, piece by piece, to achieve big goals. It's like baby steps. I never knew how to do it before. I always wanted to run to a prize, and I ended up running to a brick wall. But yet and still, once I found out that you have to crawl before you walk, then I definitely started understanding. How do you feel about it?
only that, but it's in everything, right? Math, chemistry, pharmacology. You have to follow a formula, and you can't get end results unless you do all the steps. So it's the same thing with life. And what happens is if you can't break that goal down, then a lot of times you miss or lose steps.
That's
And
right.
then it becomes a different kind of problem, right?
That's
So I feel like that's why people a lot of times wind up quitting because they have the end goal in sight, but they can't do the walkthrough, and
Yep.
that's something I say to my kids a lot. They ask me to do things. I'm like, well, give me your walkthrough.
That's
Like, if
right.
you can't make it make sense from beginning to end, then it's probably not, either you haven't thought it through enough, you're missing something to do with it, or you have to do something else, right? Or it's just not meant to be. You haven't thought it through enough.
Yep. I
I
agree.
was just going through this with my stepdaughter with the college thing. She's like, well, maybe I'm going to move to Florida and go to college. And I'm like, okay, well, what kind of college? Did you apply? Are there are there requirements? Do you need this? Do you need that? And she looked at me like I had 37 heads. And I'm like, Taylor,
It's a big
did you
part
look
of it.
into any of this? And she's like, well, no.
No, you have to be accepted first. Absolutely.
So you can't run before you can walk. So you
That's
have
right.
to do all the steps. So I think that that's great advice. Even on the
Absolutely.
show the other day, when I help people either in spiritual counseling or in my actual nursing profession, um, breaking things down and writing them down are always what I encourage people to do.
Yes.
It helps your brain process it and to keep focused.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I do have a key fact. I think this right here goes along with what you were saying. Um, oh, nope. That's the lifelong learning. We're gonna get to that one. I think that's the fourth one. But embracing a lifelong learning is a fact, as I said earlier in the show. Continuous education can lead to increased job satisfaction and earning potential. The advice is invest time in learning new skills and hobbies. Online courses, workshops, or reading can expand your horizons. Maie-Jean, I'm pretty sure you've done quite a bit of this in your life. I could tell because you're very educated.
Yes,
So,
and I don't watch TV, so I read.
oh, you don't watch TV at all? Oh, okay. Uh,
No. If
TWD.
I watch TV an hour a week, it's a good week.
Okay, all right. I can't lie. I can't fake the funk. I watch TV and I'm addicted to a couple shows, Walking Dead and
A
things like
lot,
that.
a lot of people. For me, I can think of so many better things to do
You're
that.
right. You are absolutely right. But sometimes your brain needs a killjoy, and I just use it as a killjoy. That's it. It's a
I
little
do it when I
weakness.
have to do any kind of charting for work.
Got you. I do a lot when I.
Charting for work or
Okay.
laundry.
Yes, laundry is
If
a
I have
big
to
one.
do like something where I have to sit down.
Yeah, laundry's a big one. Got you.
But if I don't have to sit on the couch,
Yep.
I'm never choosing to. So
Okay, got you. I know you don't like to sit still. You like to be moving, right? You like to go to the beach. You like to if there's an
or
opera in
even just
town.
reading, like there's
Yep.
just I feel like the TV just has so much of what they're feeding you that I don't like it.
You're
I think
correct.
that they have such an agenda.
You're correct.
Uh,
You're correct.
hold on a second.
Oh, anyways, okay. So this being vested in yourself means to truly go for what you believe in. I believe in going for what I believe in, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm running. I'm constantly working. I'm constantly in school. I'm constantly doing these things to put a foot forward, and I'm just trying to show by example on how you put foot forward. You have to. Now, mind you, I said I watch a little bit of TV, yes, but I spend a lot of time working. So TV time isn't quite as much as it should be or could be, but yet and still I still have to get work done. The point of the matter is to advance yourself to a new high. You have to put yourself on a new plateau. And I tell people all the time, the view I'm gonna get is amazing. I'm trying to stand and see something that I've never seen before. And that's my dream, my goal, my passion. That's the reason why I put foot forward. I believe that investing in yourself is the number one thing to do and the thing that is so important inside life. I also believe that it's time for people to smarten up. If we realize what's going on in society, if people pay just even a inkling of attention to what's going on in society, you'll see that things are in a really, really bad place. You know, the fact that the media is trying to feed you what they want to feed you and hide certain things is another dilemma that we face as people. I think in this world that we as a people need to stand up and get together and learn how to coexist and learn how to do it as we did it in the past before. Because in the past, if you notice, they've built a lot of things that we as people cannot understand how they built in the past before today. A lot of buildings that we build don't last as long as buildings that they built before. A lot of everything, almost even music equipment, I can say for a fact, is built totally different today than it was built 10, 20 years ago. So these are the factors that we need to understand, and to educate ourselves will be the best thing to do inside society. To invest in yourself would be the best thing to do. Even if you're 40, if you invest in yourself if you're 40, and if you have kids, just think of the advantage you're going to give the kids that you have now. You know, before, don't leave it to their hands and say, okay, I'm gonna pass it to them to then get great and then help me out in the late run. No, what's the point? You're already here. You're already able to do. They're the ones learning how to do. So, I mean, it's up to us as adults to take the initiative to step forward. May, I don't know if you heard everything I just said. I know you just had something going on, but I was just trying to explain the need or the attention that needs to be put on the focus at hand. You know, changing yourself, not only yourself, the community we live in, not only community we live in, but the society that we have. You know, it could be better. It could be worse. I mean, you know, but it's getting worse. It's getting bad. It's getting pretty bad.
Well, I feel like it's getting worse because we are losing our intimate connections, and we are
Mm,
trading them out for the internet and media
mm,
and TV. And
mm,
so what happens is, um, I'm sure everybody's aware at this point, the FBI contract with the different movie networks or whatever, whatever. So they show us what they want to. Um, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because clearly there's entertainment value. Um, and that's what people are looking for. They're looking for the entertainment value. However, I think there's a very fine line between being, um, completely and totally distracted from your real life and from just enjoying something, right? So it's like that old saying that too much of anything is a bad thing. So that's what winds up happening with the whole movie issue or the TV issue, is that it's okay if you do it in small doses or you monitor what you're taking in. But most people watch TV 12, 14 hours a day,
mhm,
and they're not giving much merit to what they're actually viewing. And
mm.
so the government is very capable and able of giving us suggestions and messages or whatever else you want to say. And again, I mean, maybe you don't think that's a bad thing and you don't care how you digest it, but for me, the difference is when you read something, your brain tells you how to perceive it or
Mm,
how to view it or what you think about it. When you watch something on television, they are showing you what you think.
mm.
That's why if you ever read a book before you watch a movie, you're generally disappointed, right?
That's right.
Because your
All the
mind
time.
is going to show you whatever.
Yep, all the time. All the books I read. And I read, I do like Lord of the Rings, so I've read all of those and It series, and I've read a lot of books, horror and even business etiquette. I mean, but you're absolutely correct. It's what you feed yourself. It's what you feed your brain.
Right. Yeah. And that's what winds up happening. And you're only taking in processed information. It's like taking in processed food. You're not giving yourself much leeway or the ability to really dissect it or to do the things that your brain would normally do with it. You're not questioning it in the same way as you do when you take it through reading or other things. And again, we're losing our intimate connection, so it makes it easier and easier for them to manipulate us. Right?
Yep.
So you don't have your mother or your sister or your brother saying to you, "Oh my God, that's so crazy! Like, why do you think that?"
Got you.
They're just all accepting it.
Well,
And
they're
that
accepting it because
translates
they
so
don't know how to
actively.
change it. They don't really know how to change it, May. This train is already rolling. They already took education. Now this show is about investing in yourself. But then still, they're taking education from school. They're giving kids computers in school. And these computers are being used for games and all this right here when they're supposed to be in their studies. But yet still, the teacher cannot watch 20 kids. So it's like, okay, it's just a fucked up situation that they're taking away from student activities, after school activities. They're doing all of this shit right here, but they're charging us more taxes. That is a big problem. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is definitely how things are being situated, and we're forced to be under these guidelines. But yet, and still, as I said, the show is about investing in yourself. They're taking away they're taking away some of the possibilities of investing in yourself. They're making it hard to get education. They're making it harder to get education, or they want to. They're taking away school programs. I don't even know if they even have Dare anymore for kids. I don't even know if they have it. That was usually a community thing that kids went through a community. So they, without
Well,
these
most
things.
drugs are legal.
You said what?
Most drugs are legal right now. I said most drugs are legal right now.
In
Even
certain
in
places,
I
I
think
can
it's
agree.
Colorado, they decriminalized cocaine and
Yeah,
everything.
in certain places, I can agree they have, but in other places, they haven't. In Connecticut, they're definitely not doing that. They're gonna catch you underneath the river for that.
Well, not cocaine, but they have marijuana at this point.
Yeah,
We
they
have
kind of have to.
definitely
It's not federally
decriminalized
accepted.
marijuana at this point.
Yeah, they have to though. That was a dumb charge from the start. Marijuana, what was that? That was a dumb charge from the start. They just wanted to tax people and charge people and ruin people's lives. That's all I did was ruin people's lives. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So I mean, I agree. But yet and still, as a people, it is up to us to enforce investing in the youth, to enforce investing in ourselves. For real, we should be willing to do that. We should be willing to stand up for ourselves. If you don't stand for something, then you stand for nothing. So it's like, okay, are you going to stand up for yourself, or are you just going to let yourself fade away? And later on in life, you cry, whine, and complain because you're lonely, and you don't have enough to live inside a seniors housing area. So it's like, okay, you have to. I don't understand some things, and that's what I don't understand. And I sat inside a jail cell, ladies, for 10 years, and I had to think. I really had to think. My life was getting crazy, and I had to think on what the fuck I was gonna do when I came home. Most dudes in there, they talking about, they're gonna go back out and do the same shit they was doing. But I ain't really want to do that shit, man. Like, for real. I didn't want to be the old niggas that I seen in prison in wheelchairs or on crutches, or, you know what I mean? I didn't want to be, I don't want to be them. So yet and still I had to figure out a plan. And that led me to investing in myself even more. I sat there, like Maie-Jean, I turned off the TV on the bunk. I had a TV on my bunk, but I turned that shit off and I put a towel over that shit, so I couldn't even watch it. And I sat there with a book, or I drew, or I did something to advance myself. You see what I'm saying? And that's how I kind of cured the process of me always wanting to be with the fellas, or chilling, or talking shit, or playing cards, or doing some shit like that. That's what kept me away from that. And Keya, how you doing tonight?
Hey y'all, I'm so sorry. I was having
Oh, you're
computer
fine.
technical difficulties.
You're fine. We hold it down. Don't worry about it. Everything good. So
Hey
I would like to.
Maie-Jean.
Hey, baby, how are you?
I'm good. How you?
So, Keya, I would like to ask you. I want to ask you the
Excellent.
one question. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. But I want to ask you the one question that I asked tonight. I said to kick things off. What does being vested in yourself mean to you? So, I would like to know that from you. What does being vested in yourself mean to you?
Taking the time out to get to know yourself and understand how you operate before you try to like figure out anything else first. Like you have to understand yourself from within in order to get anywhere in life.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay. I agree 100%. 100%. I would like to go back to a screen right quick, and we're gonna go to the fourth screen. Let's see what we got. This is the practice gratitude. The fact about practicing gratitude is research show that gratitude can improve emotional well-being and increase resilience. The advice is to keep a gratitude journal, noting 3 things that you're thankful for each day to shift your focus to the positive. So my question is, do you guys agree? Do you guys agree with that statement? You see
Yes.
anything wrong with it? Maie-Jean, you said something earlier about writing down things, and I told you I had a slide that went exactly with what you were talking about, and that right there fit right in the
Yes, sir.
structure. Um, you have to, even if you have to exemplify and be happy for the good things that happen in your life. Like seriously, every day bad things happen and good things happen. It's up to you as to whether you hold on to the good or hold on to the bad. You know, it's up to you. Either you're gonna be pissed off all day at what happened this morning, or you're gonna get over that shit and keep on moving and get the day progressed.
Well, I think even more than that too, like it helps you make better decisions, right? So if
Yeah.
you come to a crossroads or if you're questioning something in your life, like the quickest way to see if it makes sense is to make a list of pros and cons.
Mm.
And that's where the gratitude comes in because if you make a list and everything on it is positive and you don't feel that way, then you have to look inside and figure out why you still don't feel happy. But if you're looking at your list and you have more negatives going on than you do positives, that's when you have to acknowledge it and start to make change, right?
Absolutely.
So I feel, that's my least favorite part about this society is I'm so sick of listening to everyone cry about everything and not want to do anything to change it. Like, like I tell the kids all the time, life is not kind to anyone.
That's
So
right.
if you're sitting around waiting for life to be nice to you, you're going to have a long, hard life. You have to just accept what's going on and then damage control whatever comes out of the back end, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
what life really is. So, with that comes making choices that make those things easier. And so, again, if you find yourself constantly unhappy, you have to think about what choices you're making that are lending to that unhappiness.
That's right. I agree 100%. Kia, do you agree? I'm trying to get you guys' names. You guys' names should be right there along with mine. I had everything perfect. I don't know why the fuck it's not there right now. Anyways, um, so how do you feel about that?
So I agree with it, right? But I've never personally sat back and did the like real pros and cons list. Like I've never actually sat back and had to do it for like life. Like I have this thing where like I done created this routine that I'm on now. So like at a certain time of night before I'm ready to go to bed, I really sit back and reevaluate my whole day and everything that happened and what I could have did and what I can't change. And then it's like, I just be like, all right, let it go. And then that's just it is what it is, and then I go to sleep.
Got
So
you.
like I've never did an actual pros and cons list for something like that.
Got you.
I don't think I would like the idea of having it all
Pros
written
and
down
cons
and
lists
just
are
being
great
able to
because,
look at it like that.
Got you. What'd you say, May?
well, I think you have to do the negative too, right? Because I feel like what happens is we as people don't give ourselves a good balance. And Ali and I were kind of talking about this before you came on. For me, I need self-deprecation sometimes because sometimes I have to tell myself like to stop fucking around and get up and just do what I got to do.
That's
And
right.
again, it's a balance.
That's right.
Anything, even if it's positive, if it's too excessive, it becomes negative. Religion, exercise, dieting, Um, again, so we're always striving to find that homeostasis. And in order to create balance, there has to be good and bad,
But
which
that's
is why
what I
I
was
say
saying
pros and
when I said
cons
that
thing,
there's like,
because
Go ahead,
but
Keya.
wait, that's what I was saying when I said that I literally sit back and reevaluate the good and the bad, the what I can change and what I should have changed. Like, you know what I mean? But it's also understanding, like, what can be changed and what can't actually be changed. So it's like it is a way of, it is like basically doing good or bad. But I don't like to classify it as good or
yeah,
bad. Like I have to look at it differently. So I
Absolutely.
just be like, what can be
yeah,
changed, what can't be
absolutely.
changed.
As long as you learn from it,
As long as
as
you
long
learn
as you
from it,
learn
yeah.
from it and
As
you
long
do
as you get
better
a
next
lesson
time,
from it.
it's
That's right. That's right. It's all
yeah,
about learning from the problem and not doing it next time. That's why I cuss my ass out. I'll be like, yo, you fucking stupid as shit. You're not gonna do that again. Anyways, I'm going to a commercial at this time. Y'all sit back.
The engineer. He's the engineer. I don't know everything, man. He's the engineer.
Allie.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, now you
There
can
you
hear me. All
go.
right, I got to use a different device. Something
I
went on
can
with my
hear
computer.
Keya now.
My bad, my bad. All right, so pardon me for the interruption, everybody. I would like to say sorry. I can't control this computer. This computer is going fucking nuts. So, and now I got to use my phone as my mic. But anyways, can you guys hear me clear? All
Absolutely.
right, that's a bet. I can hear you too. All right,
Yes.
so as I brought up the random screen, I wanted to say now let's move on to a random screen, and we actually have a question from the audience, and it's the category is what men want to know, and it's for you two ladies. So you two ladies can are the only ones that can answer this question. It's what do you think the biggest misconception men have about women's emotional needs?
Is that they have to be catered to 24/7.
Okay.
Like a lot of women don't need it 24/7. They just need to know that it's there when they actually do feel as though they need the extra push, the extra encouragement. Like I need to feel extra loved on today. Like you only got to love on me for about an extra hour, but like, just let me know that you really care.
Okay. Okay. May.
Um, I don't know. Honestly, I think that men think we're way more emotional than we are. I feel like a lot of times men have this misconception that we are these, um, turbulent, emotional, hysterical creatures. And I mean, I'm not saying that some of us are not, but I feel that if your female is like that, it's a severe red flag. And it usually goes along with other types of behaviors. I'm not saying that women, I feel like the difference is women do most things from a place of love, right? So even when a female commits a murder, it generally has something to do with love, either cheating or hurting their children, so on and so forth. And I feel like men function more from a point of ego. So when a man does something, or if a man is pursuing something, it's because it's feeding his ego in some way. And so I think that that's where the difference is that when a man is pursuing or doing something, it's for himself. And when a woman is doing it, it's from a place where they're almost projecting it onto someone else. Like I said, either the love of a man or a child or a female at this point, whatever the
I don't
case may
know.
be.
I don't know why.
So,
I don't know why May.
but
I
I think
really want to stand up. I really want to stand up. I really want to stand up right now and say that is not exactly true. And I understand. I understand you don't separate percentages. So if 70% of men or 73% of men are acting this way, you have no problem with saying that this is how men act. And I get that theory. I get that theology. I get that. But I would like to stand up for the 19 or 20% and say that men do. And I don't think the percentages is in the 70s. I think there are more men that do what they're supposed to do than not. But I don't think women meet those men because those men are the ones that's working and doing shit. You're really not going to meet those. They're not going to be out there trying to holler at women in the
I don't.
fucking club.
I think it's more of a communication defect, though, is what I'm saying. I
Okay,
think
I
that
get you.
men and women understand each other better than we think. It's just the way we communicate the actual point.
Okay.
So, what I'm saying is, like, if you feel your female's being too emotional, instead of you saying, oh my God, she's being emotional, like, sometimes you have to look at where it's coming from, or, vice versa. But I feel like men or women almost just put it toward the sex, so
Mm.
it's the same thing. Like if a man's being aggressive, they're like, oh, the man's being aggressive, instead of the female checking herself. And not that females have to check themselves, so I don't want to come off the wrong way, right? But if in any situation you're in, if you're trying to actually do something productive in the situation, you have to de-escalate it and come to a solution, right? So, like with anything, if the man's being aggressive, well, why? What's happening in the situation? If the female's being emotional, why? What's happening in the situation? Instead of just assigning the behavior to a sex and then, dismissing it as, oh, she's just on her period today, or oh, she's just emotional today, or oh, I don't understand why she's being so erratic. You know, and for females, same thing, you know, like always being cold, he's being distant, you know, he doesn't want to talk to me. Well, those are the way men present. So again, why are those things happening? And I'm not saying you can force anyone to have a conversation with you either, because I was in a relationship where I begged my significant other repeatedly to tell me what he needed and wanted and so on and so forth, but the only thing he wanted was to bang other chicks, so it didn't work out in the long run. However, you know, I think a lot of times, instead of having those conversations, we take it personally and then we become defensive and it just becomes an argument or a circular conversation instead of a solution.
That's right. That's right. If people
You
took
know,
a second just to listen, sit back, and I have a problem with I have a problem sometimes when you're in a heated conversation to sit back and actually let the other person get a point across. I have a problem with that. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't, but I can, and I have been teaching myself how to actually listen. And this show and doing all of this online podcasting and things like that has helped me a million times over with my listening skills. You know, and
So I have good listening skills, right? But I have this thing where I pick and choose when I'm hearing what I want to hear and when I don't want to hear it. Like if we start a conversation and the conversation start off good, right? And then you say something and I say I disagree with it, and then you go to start arguing your case. I'm gonna tell you now, you got the like you literally have until you raise your tone. The moment you raise your tone, it's fight time. Okay. Like I don't care about what your point was that you was trying to make. You should have made it before you raised your voice. Cause now I don't give a damn about what you talking about. Listening to you is out the fucking window. You can shut up and now you gonna hear what I got to say, because now it's a one-sided conversation, because now you gotta sit there and listen. And that's that.
true,
Like I
true.
really got selective hearing. Like I've been hearing that all my life though. Like my grandmother, she used to tell me that all the time. Like I used to literally hear what I wanted to hear, and that was that. Like I could hear her when she said, "Come and get the money to go to the ice cream truck." But I couldn't hear her when she would say, "Oh, walk around the corner and go get this bag of potatoes from Miss Vick house," or something like that. Like,
Never hear
what?
that shit.
I can't hear
Never do
that.
what you're supposed to
I
do.
can't.
Never
What?
do what
When
you're
she kept
supposed to
banging
do.
on the door and stuff, like, yeah, no, I cannot. No, no. I had to go to the ice cream truck part though. I got you. That we can
I
do,
get it.
because I want something too.
I
Like
get it.
that's that though.
I get it, but these things right here, these are beautiful questions. I love every random segment. I love that Jinx came up with the randoms because that was dope, and I wanted her to know that, so I said that right here. May, let me ask you, uh, I agree with you on a lot of things. I agree with you on a whole lot of things. And what you said during that right there was actually dead on. You both were spot on. You both were spot on with your answers. I want to thank you guys for answering that question, and I'm pretty sure he appreciates you answering that question also. At this time during this show. Um, or sound off screen, excuse me. You guys know what time it is. It's time to sign off about the show. What exactly did you hear or like or understand about what was said during what we talked about? Kia, you came in late. I know you came in late and you missed quite a bit of conversation, but what you got out of what we ended with, what do you guys feel about that? Anybody can start.
Well,
Whoever
first
wants to
off,
go.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
um, But basically, it all comes down to really like the pros and the cons list, like being able to understand what you got going on that's good and what's bad, and being able to figure out how to move past that and how to make it better.
May, let me ask you.
I
So
think I think that my two takeaways, first of all, are, you know, that no matter where you are in your life, whether you're young or old, you should never stay stagnant. So whatever that means to you, whether it means formal education or you pursuing your own education or you pursuing interests, hobbies, arts, as long as you're always progressing, I feel like that's a good thing and the best way to pursue things. Um, I feel like it keeps us young and it keeps our minds acute. And the other thing that's come up a lot, and the last few shows and in my life, are the circular conversation thing. So I'd really like to use that as my sound off. I feel that that's why people are always disappointed when they're in conflict or when they have issues with another person, because instead of really talking to correct and to fix the problem, we're just having circular conversations where we're going back and forth about what we feel or what we think. So I feel like when we communicate with each other, we have to learn better. Like you and I have that problem too. Like you said, Ollie. Like once I feel some type of way, like I don't give fucks what you say, and I'm just gonna keep going because I just want to say what I want to say at that point. But you have to learn how to at least stop long enough to let them express themselves, because like you say, then you can't ever convince them if you can't retort to what they're saying. Right. And then at the end of the day, if we can't come up with an agreement as to what's going to make us both happy for a compromise, then sometimes we just have to agree to disagree. But to just keep rehashing the same conversation over and over again is not only redundant, but it's counterproductive. And I feel like it makes us have worse feelings toward the person in the long run.
But
Sometimes
to
you just
me,
got to say, that's what you think, I'm sorry.
What did you
Huh?
say, Kia?
But to me, that's just like, I don't know. It's more so like people only communicate to have a, like, just to be able to respond. People don't communicate to understand what you saying, where you coming from, and like the respect or how you feel that's coming from behind what you're saying. Like a lot of people just listen to respond. So literally, the moment you say something wrong, it's like, okay, I have to jump into defense mode because now I feel attacked. But instead, if like people just would listen to what's going on and not listen to just be able to respond to it, if they actually understood and had like some type of empathy towards it, they would really break down the understanding and it would make sense to them.
I agree.
Well, sometimes you have to ask people, Kia, like, what is your goal for this conversation? Right? Because if there's no goal for the conversation, if you can't even, the everything else is semantics. Like, so what you're saying is semantics. The way you feel about it. It comes down to my other favorite topic that we're going to get into in a different show, but the whole thing behind an objective fact and a subjective truth, right? So the objective fact is the concrete thing that happens in the situation. So the objective fact, like let's say a couple's arguing about a man cheating, right? So the objective fact is you find the text messages, or you see the video, or someone sends you a picture. Like that's the objective fact. Everything else, how you feel about it, how you got the picture, what was really happening in the picture, who the girl really is, those are all subjective truths, because it just depends on who's telling the story at that point,
That's
right?
right. Yep.
So
We're
when
gonna
you're
get
having
there.
those conflicts that you feel are going in those circular things where you feel like you are just trying to vindicate yourself in some way, it's because you really don't have an end goal. At that point, you have to halt the conversation and say, what is it exactly that we're trying to accomplish right now? And that's why things like cheating and that are so difficult, because so how do you make that better? Like, do you put a GPS on his phone? Is he calling you every 15 minutes? Does he unfriend the girl? And then at the end of the day,
Can't wait. I
do
can't
those
wait.
things really help you to feel better in any way? They don't. So again, you have to, instead of just going back and forth about the semantics, you have to find that objective fact and then focus on that. And it's
All right.
okay to stop a conversation.
All
It's
right.
okay to say to
Definitely
someone,
know
May.
that. I walk
listen,
away.
this is not
May.
going.
May. Right
Yeah.
now we're gonna wrap up this show. We'll get to that on the subjective truth. We're not gonna go through that right now in this time. But yet and still, I would like to bring us back full focus as we wrap up today's episode. Nah, fuck that. Hold up. Screech that shit. I got something for y'all. Let's go, man. Had to take that moment right quick. I was taking a moment. I was feeling that moment. But as we wrap up today's episode, I would like to take a moment to reflect on this investing in yourself. It is not just a personal journey. It is a commitment to everyone you love. When you prioritize your own growth, you cultivate a deeper understanding of who you are, which strengthens your relationships with others. Imagine showing up as your best self, more confident, more resilient, more loving. That transformation doesn't just benefit you, it radiates outwards, enriching your connections with family, friends, and your community. So I challenge you to carve out some time each day for self care. Embrace your passions and set boundaries to honor your needs. Because when you invest in you, you create a ripple effect that uplifts those around you. Remember, a stronger you means stronger relationships. Let's commit to this journey together and better ourselves. You guys have a wonderful evening. I'm going to bring my lovely co-host back up here on the screen. And I would like them to say goodnight to everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, y'all.
Welcome to
Have
the
a good
Gag Order,
night.
man. We in here. We gonna
Kisses.
get this right. Let's have a good night.